governments to take titles. It has not been.
But now, let me help you.
I wanted to say now, Chair,
yes,
that guidance we are going to aggressively pursue.
Governor, I want to tell you that statement is not fair.
Yeah.
In my previous life as a member of parliament,
yes,
I took title deeds for all my primary schools in all my in my constituency.
Yeah, or primary schools.
Primary schools.
Yeah.
So I'm saying when you look at all the issues you're talking about, it is easy to get there.
Okay.
Number two, I am sure that what Somalia would ask you is, we have now gotten the title deed and we are looking at the evaluations for all that we are looking at. The question then becomes is, if your own office doesn't have a title deed,
it doesn't,
then it means you're actually a squatter in Nyeri.
But I own all the land. It's unfortunate.
Okay, so
we'll look at it. But I stand guided.
Okay.
And we are going to pursue.
Somali?
We are well guided because our concern was like I know Nyeri Health House. Simeon. But they have no record, just inventory, not even a title deed. You are supposed to list. Even as a government, you are supposed to have a listing of all your assets for ease of prevention of attacks. Yes.
And certainly I know, Governor, I do not know the structure of the county government of Nyeri, but I know you either have a minister for lands,
we do,
or a chief officer for lands,
we do,
or a director for lands, and a whole department for lands.
We do.
So if you want to help the other people dealing with land matters, start with yourselves.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I would like to tell the committee, our officers, to put that somewhere, and I think you can engage, where I think we may have to, as the Senate, raise this issue using the teams we have in the Senate to come up with the most appropriate way on how we start with first things first. Do we get the title, then you do the valuation, who do we need to consult in terms of ABCD, so that at least your county government knows what its assets are and what the valuation of those assets are. Thank you. Smiley?
Thank you, Chair. I move on to 4.2. Is also a related audit issue. A review of fixed assets register indicated that assets had not been tagged for ease of reference, identification, and updating. In addition, various assets that include land, buildings, motor vehicles, furniture, plant, machinery, and computers inherited from defunct local authorities were not disclosed or valued. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of assets balance of Kenya shillings 4.2 billion in the summary of assets register as at 30th June will not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I think we are guilty as charged, and we are going to do the necessary.
Maybe, Chair, if you allow me, before you admit to being guilty or not guilty, first of all, I've seen that you have just copy-pasted the response. It is the same response, but the question was different, because tagging of your own furniture, does not require IGTRC. I mean, that Minister, those are your assets. Why are they not tagged? The desk that you're sitting on, it is not tagged for use of identification. And I'm sure you know the standard of doing an asset register. So the substantive question before you admit whether you're guilty or not, why are the furniture of Nyeri not tagged?
Chair, it's important that I raise with this committee that there are very many competing needs in the county. And you have a choice to hire an ECD teacher or tag equipment. So sometimes we find that we try to look at, and especially having been a first-term governor, you try to look, I can't go out for my campaigns and tell everybody, the best work I have done is tag your equipment in this county. They will not vote for me. So within these competing interests, sometimes you find that we have not done that. And like I agree with it. I do remember one time, it was mentioned in COG, but when we had the enormous costs of tagging equipment, because it was running into millions. I personally decided I wouldn't do that, and I see the point. We need to tag the equipment, and I do remember in the handing over of the first government to ourselves when we took over, there was one vehicle that was missing. We could see the vehicle, but it was not appearing anywhere in the records until someone mentioned it. And so I see the point of us tagging, but it is really an enormous cost. So I agree, Senator.
You know, Governor, you have said a very good thing, that you need to put medicine in hospitals instead of tagging. Unfortunately, the law does not give you that comfort. The law requires that you tag all your assets. You're the governor of Nyeri, so the law expects of you to tag all your assets. So you know how you put medicine in hospital, you know how you tag your assets, but the law does not give you the attitude of not tagging. Because every time there will be a competing need. Every one moment, there will be no one time that you get money to say that this is extra. So if it is running into millions, that's why you have been put, so that you can make that very difficult decision. So that when you're handing over to another person, you not face the same challenges that you are having. As you have rightly put, the reason why your furniture is tagged, including this furniture that you are seeing here, everything is tagged here, so that I cannot use this microphone at home. I cannot go with it because it will be written, send it.
Thank you. I wanted to just make a small point. Before that, I think Senator Nyeri wanted to say something.
Thank you very much. Through the chair, I think the problem that we should be addressing as senators is have we set standards and procedures that should be followed during the handover. I think we should standardize so that it becomes a requirement that's also budgeted and looked into, because I would want to agree with the governor, when you're faced with people who are dying and starving from hunger and tagging a desk, I think the common sense would dictate that you feed the person, but I think we should come up with a standard, but most importantly also a profession for that. I think that should be a gap that we as a Senate should address. Thank you, Chair.
If you allow me, Chair, to say this on an unrelated matter, not about tagging and not tagging, there is always a committee that is called the County Assumption of Office Committee. Yes. And whatever Senator MATIANG'I is asking is what is supposed to happen. Unfortunately, as it may be for every person, you are very excited that you have been elected, so you do not, you're told this is the pending bill, you just take, this is the what, you just take. After some time, our governor was telling us here that after they inherited, I think it's last week, in the handover they were given a pending bill of 2.3 billion. When she now settled down, after 1 month, the excitement is over, you now settle down. You are seeing that the bills have been inflated by our whole 1 billion. But so what we need to stress is keenness during the assumption of office. Because the law does not create that vacuum. It has cured that. Only that I was also very excited to become senator. So even when I came for my induction, I was listening, but I was not getting what I was being told. I have learned the hard way.
Thank you very much. Governor, I will accept your interpretation. I also want to bring in what Honorable Mutinga has said. Honorable Mutinga, the standardization is actually why we are having the Auditor General do this audit on whether we are doing tagging or whatever we do. I believe that if you look at 4.1 and 4.0, they are related in terms of the assets, their registration, their tagging. The purpose is very simple, and I think the answers just come here, that once you're going to have the transition during the assumption of office, how do you know what you've been left? How do you know what the former government has handed over to you? And you notice, if you have been seeing, Governor, our audit engagements here, there's always the question of what my predecessor did, so we're trying to eliminate. That is, I believe, the reason why OAG brought the issue. Somali, can we assume that we can move on?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
The next audit query is 5.0 and support a pending bill, and it has been supported 13.8 million. And generally the pending bill situation for county executive is good. Therefore, I can, with your permission, Chair, I can move on to 1.0, which is late exchequer. Again, the late exchequer has also been addressed because it's beyond the control of the governor.
So Governor, 5.1, we leave it because we've already sorted that out.
It's okay, Chair.
Late exchequer releases, we leave that too because that has been discussed and agreed upon. Yes, Smiley?
We have 2.0 about budget control and performance, revenue expenditure budgets. Let me read that one, Chair. Review of summary statement of appropriation recurring revolvement combined reflects a total receipts of budget of shillings 9 billion against actual budget of shillings 8.7 billion, resulting in unrealized revenue collection amounting to 320.7 million, equivalent to 3.5% of the budget. Further, the total payment budget amounted to shillings 9 billion 098 against actual payments of shillings 7.74 billion, resulting to an absorption of 1.323 billion or 14.5% of the budget. This is mainly attributable to acquisition of assets of shillings 1.3 billion against a budget of 2.1 billion and absorption of 833.1 million. There is a need for the county to have a proper budgeting mechanism with a view to utilizing the budget in full for better service delivery to the citizens of Nyeri County. Thank you, Chair.
Governor?
Thank you, Chair. This was as a result of non-disbursement of the of conditional grants, that is the Kenya Urban Support Program, the Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Program, KSAP, Agricultural Sector Development Program, ADSP, I think 2, and Transforming Health for Universal Healthcare, THS-UCP, amounting to Kenya shillings 207,670,949, and our failure as a county to also meet the local revenue target of 1 billion that we had set for ourselves. Further, Chair, it was also during this period that the country was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic that greatly affected own source revenue collections, and thus the shortfalls from the targeted revenue collection. It is the same year we waived so many
Smiley?
In fact, we had that issue is also related to late exchequer part of it, but the other portion is their own source revenue, where they had a target of 1 billion and they were able to raise 642. And probably this is where we seek the wisdom of the committee, because that was also for COVID period.
Governor, on your own source revenue right now, what are your projections?
Chair, we had projected, we revised it downwards, 800 million.
Yes.
And I'm glad to report that in the year that has just been audited, we were able to raise 1.2 billion.
Okay, so you are back on track?
Yes.
Smiley, is that mitigation reasonable enough for us to proceed?
It is, Chair, considering that was a COVID year and progressively,
yes,
we are seeing a growth.
Thank you. Senator Methu?
Maybe, Chair, and I would want to now go to 2019-2020. What was your correction for 2019-2020?
Thank you, Chair. For 2019-2020, out of a budget, our projections of 1 billion, we were only able to collect 663,836.
I'm sure you know why I'm asking this question, Governor, and I'll keep asking this question because every time you put your own source very, very, very high and you exhaust your budget, that is one hole and one route of getting enormous spending bills.
Agreed.
So, and unless you have done something now in your systems and you are now certain that you can be able to, surpass. I will give you an example. You know, there's one county that had a revenue correction of 500 million, and in their budget they put a projection of 1.2 billion. You know, nothing changed. They have not changed the systems. They have not done anything. So that puts a hole in their budget of 700 million. Yes. For prudence, you must always target something that you think is achievable. You must also look at the streams that and do not use. And I'm sorry to say this because I don't want you to say that it is me who told you. Do not use the projections that you get from, I think, CRA. Yeah. That tell you that you're going to be able to collect 2 billion. You are the one that you are the wearer of the shoe. You know how it fits. You know how much you can be able to collect. Realistically, you know how much you can be able to collect. Yes. As a responsible leader, it will be so wrong to overestimate your own source revenue. If you are now at 1.2, you are now at 1.2 billion. Yes. And your target was 800. Yes. So you already have a surplus of 400. Yes. So now you have targeted 1.4 in this budget. No. We will target 1 billion. Now. But you have an A, you cannot target to get a B. Why? Maybe, Chair, I need to explain why we are there. We decided to, we were the first county to create a health fund. So the health fund, we do not count it as a known source revenue. But we are now at the 2022-2023, we were able to collect 469 million. In the health fund alone, which we don't mix with this other one. And for this other one, our target was 800, but we were only able to get 610. But you see, the health fund is elsewhere. So when we put the two together, that's how we are getting 1.2. So we are not going. We are going to our target will remain 800 because we haven't achieved it on the other. On the other hand, but for the health fund, we will leave it that way because that is the only way we are sure the people of Nyeri can continue getting drugs in hospitals.
Governor, thank you. OAG, is the governor making sense?
He is, but I still feel there is a good potential of Nyeri collecting more. I have a demonstration here that if they were able to eat 8, that is 886, they can still pull and hit the 1 billion. The 1 billion was realistic.
And maybe, if my memory serves me right, Governor, the last time you appeared before us, you told us you have not been collecting money from the alcoholic drinks stream.
No, we were.
Okay.
Yeah, we were.
And you're still collecting?
Yeah, we are still collecting.
Okay.
Actually, Chair, the CRA has proposed, has sent us our potential to be 4 billion. But you agree with me that we are elected leaders and we need to go back to the people. I am not going to fall into the Kenya Kwanza trap of overtaxing my people and then they'll send me home. We have to balance the two, even as we look at...
Maybe, Chair, I think the governor is completely out of order.
Honorable Methu, the governor was talking through the chair. And
I also spoke through the chair.
I would want you to leave that matter like that. Essentially, the issue I think the governor is raising is that there's a sensitivity as to how much you can stretch your people, and I wouldn't want to take it to the political line. I think Governor, if Senator Methu will agree with me, then we will go to the next. Thank you. So Smiley, I think that's agreeable. We move to 5.
Well, that's okay, Chair.
The pending bills, I want to say that very many county governments we've had here, Governor, I've actually been having this constant issue with not pending bills, with pending bills, and I'm happy that you have at least managed to have yours in control.
Thank you.
If you notice, I think this committee has been sitting with many county governments, and they have got pending bills to the tune of billions of shillings. So I want to congratulate you, and please be very sensitive about these pending bills, because as we are arguing that taxes could be bringing a problem for economic movement and economic development and low inflation, the problem is once you also don't pay the pending bills, then you reduce money circulation in the economy, then it affects your taxes. The whole thing, I think you understand that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sumaili?
Thank you, Chair. The next audit query is